Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another stream. We are doing another part, working on this guy here. Although if you've been watching my series, this picture looks a little different than last time. But we're doing the ROKAF F-51D Mustang by Tamiya 1/32 scale. This is just another part. I'm showing another picture. I'll tell you why in a second. The reason why I've got this picture up is because I've had a couple of people ask me if I'm going to be painting it like the box art with the big yellow shark mouth on it and all that stuff. And I think I've mentioned a couple of times already that no, I'm not doing it like that. I'm doing it like the Korean plane, the ROKAF. Annyeonghaseyo to all my friends in Korea. I am doing it this version, okay? It's Admiral Dean Hess, his plane. Famous for the Korean War. He trained all the Korean pilots how to fly the F-51s or P-51s, whichever they were calling them at the point where it started. I don't know that timeline exactly. But anyway, so I've got that picture there. That's what this is going to look like. Obviously, I'm not painting it in black and white, but yeah. So we're going to continue on. Okay, so we can throw that there. We have our fuselage is all ready and we're sitting there all nice and pretty, and so that's good. I did have somebody mention in, I think it was my last video, I think it was Nico, who hasn't been active in my chat in a long time or messaged me, but he sent a message suggesting I invert my overhead camera so that you guys get a look on my perspective on how it's done. Now, it's going to be interesting. I'm going to try that in this particular video today. I'm going to try it with it inverted and see what you guys think. It's going to be a little bit strange, I think, because you're going to see a lot of my big belly in the way that I'm sitting here. My camera is not directly overhead of me. That's why it's actually in front, angled down like this, and so that's why it's at the angle that it is. So it'll be interesting. We'll try it out and see what you guys think. If you like it better, I'll just leave it this way. Otherwise, we'll see. So anyway, looking at our instructions, I still have one exhaust to put on. I did put one exhaust on this side here, but I haven't put the other one on, so I'll do that for you today. And then we're going to move on down to putting in the carburetor duct. That's what they call it. So I'll flip the camera for you. I'll change my glasses so I don't have to worry about things getting blurry when they're up close, and see how this goes. All right, okay guys, so I'll change the camera here, see how you like it. So here it is. This is my perspective on how I see it, and so there you go. So I'm going to put this on here like that, and we'll go from there. As you can see a lot of my body, but whatever. So I already put the battery in up top. That's this here. Okay, so I got the battery in already up top there. I put that in. It was pretty simple. Just dropped in right there. Got it glued up. I did put the red piece in on the front there. Got that put in. It's just very simple. 2 pegs went in like that. Done. Got everything all glued up nice and butted up nice and tight in there. And so that's all nice and solid. And so yeah, that's done. Okay. So, in my plethora of parts here, find my exhaust. There we go. So this just goes in right in there like this, and then just nestles down just like that. That's all it is. Just go doink, glue there, and you're done. Okay? Nice and easy. Of course, I always like to use both types of glue depending on the situation I have. So I like to put a little bit right there, and then there's going to be a little bit on this side and a little bit there. that lined up. And you got everything lined up. It should go into its little slot. Yeah, see, perfect, just like that. There is a little notch right in here for that to go in there so that this sits flush. So you want to make sure you've got that. I might have to hold it for a minute to make sure that it stays, but I had to do that on the other side. The other side wanted to pop out. This side seems to be doing good, so I'm going to put a little bit of, I got a bit of a gap right here that I don't have on this side. So you see if that'll slide back ever so slightly. Not really. I got a hair. Slid back a hair, but not much. And then that popped out again. Yeah, I found the other side I had to hold it for a minute to just keep it where it's supposed to be, but it wasn't too bad. So I'll just hold this side like I did the other one for a moment and let that glue set, and then we'll put it down for a few minutes as we start on a different section completely. It's kind of funny, the battery seems so shiny. I think, you know, I used some of my AK, now I have to invert this for you guys to see it, dust effects from AK. I put a bunch of that all over the engine here to make it look just a little bit worn instead of a nice brand new shiny looking engine. I haven't done that on the battery though, and the battery is like super glossy and shiny and looks kind of out of place. So I'll have to do that. I'm going to have to get used to holding these as if I'm looking at them for you guys to see instead of turning it around like I normally do. That's going to take a little bit of getting used to. Okay, looks like the glue's holding now, so I'm going to put this down, put it aside. Another thing I did since last week is I did a little bit of detail painting on all the bullets that are going to go on the wings, the wing pods. I got those all done, so those are all ready to be put in when we get to that point, right? So yeah, it's a little bit different getting this up to you guys now. That's my bullets. Unfortunately, the golden color of the bullets kind of just blend in with the chromate yellow that I've chosen to do, so it doesn't you don't really appreciate the variation in the colors, but so be it. That's the way it's going to be. Oh well. Okay, so with those there, our next step is to build the carburetor duct. So I got to find my V tree, V9 and 14 and 13. Actually, I've already got those taken apart. I have them here because I painted them last time. That's these three. Okay, and I need a piece of photo etch. So off of our B tree, the B photo etch, that's this one. I need B2, which is this one here. So let's grab that. Oh, three little. There we go. Okay. So, if my voice sounds a little funny, it's because I've been fighting the cold for the last week and a half, and I have a cough drop in my mouth right now, battling a sore throat. So, let's clean up my nubs here. Feels good. There's this guy. I realize there are ways to remove the photo etch where you don't get quite as many big nubs sticking off of them, but you know, for the 20 to 30 seconds of filing them down, it's not that big of a deal, I think. Just a little bit of elbow grease. I can't even say it's elbow grease. I'm not really pressing on it very hard to get it down. It gets the job done. There we go. Other than a lot of metallic dust, as you might notice here on my page, other than that, it's not a big deal. And of course on my desk too. Okay, so we're going to take this guy and we're going to take this, and this needs to be bent in order to fit the contour of this. Let's see if I can determine how they have this sitting. So it's like this, and they want this with the little notch facing this direction. So it's going to sit like that. So I just need to bend it a little bit. So I'll see if I can get away with just doing this. Bend it down a little bit. Turn it around. Bend it there. That seems to be pretty good. We'll see how close that is. And of course, photo etch, we're going to need our CA glue. And I actually guessed at that pretty good. That's like perfect. Wow. That was a good guess on my part. Okay. So, CA glue. I always wipe down the tip of the CA glue because I hate, you know, in the past I've had the lids literally get glued to the thing, and then you wind up, the only option is to open up the bottle in order to get the glue out. And it's, well, it's annoying to say the least. Okay, so where am I going to want to glue? Basically on each edge here and here, I think is probably all I'm really going to need. Once I get enough on there that I think is going to be enough to hold it. What do you guys think? Should I zoom in maybe a little bit better, a little more on there, to give you guys a better view of what I'm doing? Maybe I'll zoom in. And give you guys a little better look of what I'm actually doing. Okay, I got a little bit of a little puddle of CA glue going on in there now. I think that's going to be enough. Could do this on here too. Let's give a little something on that pole. Okay, we'll drop this down just like we did before. And I think that's good enough. Really all we need. It's not an exact fit, but I think if I just hold it down and get some accelerator think will probably be enough. I want to do this. There we go. All right. I don't know what that was. I was looking over here for a Q-tip when I heard something. Yeah, this side came up. This side came up, so kind of have to hold it down now to try and apply. I kind of hope it's going to hold. Falling on the floor is not what I would call being used as intended. My little trick worked though. It's held. Alright, so that's in place. That looks pretty good. Okay. The other thing we need to do, now that we've got this done, I gotta get some magnets. We're back to our magnets. MG1. So there's our little reference for how big they are. So where are my magnets? It should be in here. There they are. Okay. Basically, they're going to go in there, this spot here. So you can match them up. Oh yeah, it's the bigger magnets. So we need two of those. And of course, same old thing as before. I'm not sure what polarity we need, so I've been doing it so that the polarity that wants to stick to my thing, that's always been up. So I'm just going to continue with that as my frame of reference. Put that down there. This. Do that. Here we go. Do the same with this one. Now, I do want to make sure the glue's holding this one. Here we go. Soak that up a bit. I don't want to try and put the next magnet in and have it just jump over to this one, which is very possible that it could do that. As much as I might try and prevent it, it may want to do that. And it just did. See what I mean? And these are pretty tough. Get off of there. Okay. Hopefully I'm not gluing my finger down. Okay. Got them in. There we go. So there's that. Looks like in another piece of photo etch we need to put in this guy. So we need B3. B3 is this guy here. Okay, there we go. Again, clean up our nub so it's going to fit. There's one. The second one, it looks like I got a little bit closer, so it's a bit better. Won't have to do as much. There we go. Okay. Alright, so this guy has to go in this slot, it looks like this. Now, it's kind of floppy, so do we need it to be straight up and down? Do we need it... Let's have a look here. Take this out. This guy's going to go in. And he's going to go in like this. Okay, so it's going to go right there. So it is supposed to be on an angle. These pegs here are where it's going to rest up against, and these are on a definite angle. They're not straight up and down. But first we're going to put our two pieces together. This is just simply going to go in like this. Just like that. Okay. Got a bit of a nub mark I need to clean up there. That would either interfere with fitting something in behind it or just look awful later on. So it's really just two little pegs, actually only one peg, to give you a place to line it up, and that's it. Just like that. Okay, so I'll run a little extra thin through there. Just to make sure we've got it all nice and happy. Okay, so that's all together. So I'm going to try gluing this in first and then putting in the photo etch. So if I got that glued, can I slide the photo etch down in there? That's going to be a test. Well, sort of. Tamiya has allowed for a bit of a gap for it to slide in, but I'll put it in first and then put that piece on. Let's put some along here. these two edges where it touches. Press down, make sure that's in all the way. There we go. Okay, so that's in. And this is going to go on. There's not a lot of contact points on this one. And that sits like that. Just like that. Small magnets, but on a scale of the plane, maybe too small relatively. Yeah, maybe not, eh? I think if the magnets were to scale, they'd probably be a good foot in diameter in 1-to-1. So there we have it. There's our carburetor duct. And that makes us finished for this page. Okay? So, let me just close a couple of things up here and we'll see what's next. Alright, this page is finished. Completely done now. Next. I guess we're going to sit this aside and let this sit for a minute while we deal with some piping. Off of our V tree, we need V16 and 17 to go together. I have these pre-painted to kind of speed things along a little bit. I went and pre-painted a bunch of things on here so that you guys can just basically watch the assembly rather than watching me paint stuff. So, V16 and 17 is these two. So those are going to go together like this, and then we're going to need V31, which is this guy here. So I might as well take this off now. And then we're going to need V11, which is this guy. There we go. Okay, and then we'll deal with that in a minute. Okay, so first of all, let's see how my nubs are. Nubs are good. They look pretty good. Okay, so this guy goes like this, and this guy goes like this. Big fat fingers, it's a little bit of a challenge to get these lined up. Almost. There we go. Just like that. Okay, I want to hold on to them like that. There. Interesting little setup. Okay, and they're going to go in the fuselage here. Try and determine exactly where they want it. Looks, they're referencing a little duct. Oh, we got the. I have this upside down. This has to sit like that. Ah, okay. There's a little duct. So this little thing right there, or two little notches, are going to go in right here. So where the hoses wind up, I'm not sure. They sit like that. Interesting exactly where they wind up connecting. Right. There's a couple of places where, okay, yeah, that's where that definitely wants to go, but it doesn't quite reach. It's like almost, and then, oh, maybe not. This one is touching the side of the oil pan there, so I can use that as another anchor. That works good. Okay. And then we have this one. This guy has to go in. And it looks like he actually goes down lower. Not sure where the bottom part of this pump or whatever this is supposed to go. It looks like it goes to this little notch right here. It's where they're pointing to right there, is this notch. But there's nothing for it to go positively to that notch. Like, I would say just like that. There, I got it. So this goes back to this little notch here. So that's how you can tell you've got it right. And this pipe is supposed to go right to this hole. And therefore that would connect to this pipe here. So once you get it, it goes. But getting it is the trick. So let's add some glue to these points. It's really nice once it, you know, you think you got it in the right spot, but it's not quite. And then when it finally goes in and it fits absolutely perfect and everything lines up, it's like, that's nice. Little sense of satisfaction on that. It looks good. All right. So, going back to this guy, we got another magnet to put in. We got a magnet that's going to go in right there. So let's just set this over here. We need the smaller magnets. So, put them back in here. You need one of the little guys. So take one of those. There's not a lot of magnets left. He's going to go doink right in there. Unfortunately, everything I have that would allow me to put some pressure on it is made of metal. I do have toothpicks. I thought I had a toothpick out here somewhere. Maybe not. I think I got it. I'm gonna find out here. Okay, yep, magnets in. Done. Okay. So with the magnet in, this guy can go in, and let's see how he's supposed to go. So there's a little notch right down here. You guys can see it. I get the right angle. Right down in here, just below the oil pan, there's a notch there. And that's where this notch is supposed to go. Okay, and then this tab and this tab, they go into these two little notches here and here. So assuming you get everything lined up, it's going to go, it'll fit. I feel like I almost got this notch fine, and then we'll just do these tabs. Getting it in with that. Just like that. just like that. That seems to be fitting flush. As tight as it seemed like it was going to be, it went in perfectly. And now we have this. Now this is not just flat, it's on a bit of a curve, right? Which tells me it's supposed to go in at an angle, and it's going to go in across here. To those two little notches, but it doesn't seem to be long enough. It looks like it's supposed to fit flush, and that's definitely not far enough down. So I either don't have this right, which is possible. Maybe I didn't get this in the right slot. It seems to be right where it's supposed to be though. See that little, see these two little notches here? This one and this one is where this is supposed to fit in, but that doesn't seem to reach. And get it in there. It's just barely touching them. See what I mean? But at the same time, I don't think it can go. It won't go. That's just where it sits. That's its home. Okay, that's its home. Okay, that's its home, just like that. Okay, let that sit and let that cure for a minute. And we're going to switch to the top, the cowling frame on the top. Okay, this guy here. So I'll put this aside for a moment and get our two pieces. We're going to get some hosing and the cowling. So V32 and 18 off of the same tree or sprue. 32 there is the hose, and then cowling. There we go. So I want to make sure my nub is clean here. This part does feel a bit fragile, so you want to be careful. You don't want to break any of your arms off. You don't want to break your arms off in any sense of the word. Make sure my nubs are clean on this. A little bit of a thing there. Nub there needs to be taken care of. Okay, so we have this guy. He's only going to go in one way, and that's going to be right like this. Two little pegs going to go to these two little holes. Just like so. Just like that. Okay. done. There we go. Now I gotta check a message I just got, so just a second here. Okay. Alright, so with that setting, let's go back to this guy. We'll turn it around to match the picture. And then have a look at how this sits. I have it backwards. No wonder it's not wanting to fit. There's a little pin there that's supposed to go in that little slot on top of the cooler. It sits just like that. So we're not quite lined up here, because that should go down like that. We're in, we're on. I haven't glued it, of course, but that's how it's going to sit. Everything's lining up nicely. So I think it's safe to add some thin set on there and glue it down. A few places I'd like it to line up a little better. Like right there, I would like a little nicer of a fit. It's like the bend doesn't quite match. It's close, but it's not quite. See what I mean? It wants to go forward. It's like it's not actually touching it. A little bit of a bend would be nice. Okay, I'll worry about that later. See, this one's a little bit worse, going up forward like that. That's not right. I'm gonna have to work on those separately. Once it's actually glued down properly and set permanently, then it'll be better. Try and get this perfectly in the center. Where it's going to be best. Go. And while I'm at it, I can add a bit of glue to the points in the hosing where it's actually touching on the engine. That will add a little bit of rigidity. That looks pretty good. These two front ones I'm going to have to deal with on their own. Once the rest is glued in and the glue is actually cured properly. CA glue would you know, hasten the process, but I would rather see. I almost kind of want to put a bit of a wedge down in here to push this one back, just like that, but it needs to come out at the same time, so going back isn't enough. It's got to be unbent a little bit. Maybe this pushing down might help a little bit, but that's a little bit of, it's just not connected here. It doesn't look right. It doesn't line up with everything else lining up. This lines up with this bar like that, so you want to see this line up with this bar, right? So that just doesn't look quite right with it sticking forward. And if I just put it back, I've got a gap between here and here. And it's kind of the same on this side. It needs to come back. This side's not as bad. I just get it to glue against this piece here, and that would be good. That would be fine. I could live with that. I still want it to come out just a little bit, you know. Maybe if I can just convince it right now to stay there. Just hold it and we'll see how that holds. Maybe at least get one side done, because that's going to end this, and then we're going to move on to some tail flaps and get some wing assemblies going here. So just hold on to that just for a minute. Looks like that's going to hold on its own now. Sometimes it just takes a bit of convincing, right? Just a little something to shove down in there. Just a little wedge of something is all I need. Too big. Everything I have is too big. It might hold on its own, but I don't trust it. Let's try this. Almost. Fold that. There. That'll hold it. Perfect. And that'll hold it forever too. Let's hold it as long as I want. Hey, 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 hey. I'm not holding it that hard. Sometimes that's the trick in doing this kind of stuff, is finding the perfect piece that puts the perfect amount of pressure. Okay, that seems to be holding. So I'm going to leave that. Leave that and we'll deal with this, okay? So, moving on to the rudder. We're going to assemble the rudder, okay? So we got to find our B tree, B5 and 6, okay? And then it looks like we've got some metal parts to assemble here and more photo etch. So here's our B tree, the one tree that I've been fooling around with so much and ignoring because we haven't been at any point of dealing with wings yet. Doink. And doink. That's all we need, 5 and 6. And then we gotta get some metal stuff. Metal rods and things like that. Let's deal with our nubs first because we've got ugly nubs like that. It's gotta come out of there. And they show you in here the two little nubs you need to get rid of. It looks like there's a nub right here and right here. They gotta come off. Otherwise this thing will not go together. It's nice of Tamiya to undergate them like that. Now if you don't care about anything, you want to glue this in solid, you could just put these two together like this and call it a day. But we want to be able to have this thing flat back and forth, right? That's what we want. That's the whole point of the detail. That's why we buy such a bigger plane to get that detail. So we need, off of our little rods, we need ST1 and ST4. Okay. So we've got a little bag of rods here. This one here. So we're going to see, no, maybe this one, but it might be one of these thin ones. I don't know for sure. ST1, let's see, maybe that longer guy there. I would like to finally, I'm just going to open up this bag. It's not even open. I'm going to open up this bag completely here. We're going to finally go full hog and open this up completely because I'm going to dump them all in that. More. Doesn't look like it. No. That's it. That's all of it. All right. So now we can do our checking. No. One of these long ones maybe. That looks like we got a winner there. And then this guy. Yep. See, so maybe a thicker one. That could be that. Yeah, nope. Nope. Okay. That's it. Okay. So where'd my lid go? Alright. So there's our new little container of rods. Okay. Photo etch. We need B, 14 and 15. 14. Oh, we need 16. That's going to go on the bottom. So 14. We have two number 14s. We've got one 15 and one 16. that was the 16. Here's our 15. And there's our 14. Okay. Now, do I have to clean these up? Because they're never going to be seen. The only thing that's going to hinder you is, do they fit, right? That's what's going to be the thing. So, we'll see. Because they actually sit like this direction, maybe this is going to be an issue. So, I'll try and clean this one up. I don't want to glue it in there and then have it so suddenly it don't fit because I've got a bad nub sticking off of it. Okay, so let's see what we got to do. We got to take our B4 and that's got to go in here, and it's going to go in up top here, and we can take our tiny little guy, this guy here. Let's get him on this shaft like this. And then it's going to go in here. But he's going to go up here like this. Right? That's what that looks like to me. Yeah, because he's going to stick out near the top there. So he's got to go like that, and we've got to glue that in. Now my glue over here has gotten kind of dry, so I'll add a little more. See, I just made the mistake of putting glue on him, and I'm not supposed to. And I don't want this glued in without him. So let's just leave this. I'm going to remove the glue off of that. Wipe the glue off. See, I'm not supposed to glue him to the shaft. He's supposed to be nice and no glue. You don't glue the pieces to the rods. You just glue the rods in. Okay? So, you see the way this one is notched? This one has a little notch in it. So, put that one there. And then this guy. See that little slot? There's a little slot right there. That's where this guy's got to go in. Which means it's got to have his little notch in the same direction. Oops. Like this. Looks like it, yep. So all I gotta do is glue the rod in, right? The rod's gotta be glued in, but that's it. I don't want to glue the hinges. That was a lot of glue to put on right there. So let's just take some of that away. That should be plenty. Now let's go back to our top one. This should have calmed down and doesn't have any glue on it anymore. Yeah, see, because I got glue on it, it's a little tricky. There we go. Okay. So this time, just glue the rod in. Hey. That's not what's supposed to happen. Let's try this again. Okay, now that's in, and now we can put this side on, doink, like that. We don't need CA glue for that, we can use our regular glue. If I did this right, these are movable. Yep, they got some play. That's perfect. That's what we want. So I just want to make sure I've got everything buttoned up nicely. That for a minute. I want to go around the whole edge of it. There we go. So we have our rudder. Now they say don't glue this part, only glue the photo etch pieces in. So we only want to glue these pieces. Now, we didn't want to glue them on the other one, but now we do want to glue them. How'd my piece hold out here? Hey, we're holding nicely. That's perfect. I don't know if you can really see what I'm talking about on this. Right in there where this piece is lined up. This is where I wanted it to line up right like that. Right? I guess I should show it like this now that I wanted it lined up right like that, right? So this should be lining up there. I'll have to touch up the paint, but no big deal. Just touch up the paint is fine. You might not even see it with weathering, right? Anyway, so we got to pay attention now to our little spots here, here, and here. All we have is three little slits, and that's all that is. That's going to be challenging to get CA glue on those pieces and those pieces only. So I'm going to put a little drops on each tip and then shove them in. That's all I can really do, right? And then we just hope for the best. We hope it all lines up, and then hope for the best. There's a lot of hoping. It's hard for me to see. Getting that to go in is really not fun. By the time I've got this in there, I think the glue will have dried on me. I can get the top and I can get the bottom. Our metal one does not want to go in at all. It's binding. I'm only getting it in a fraction of the way. So let's see if I can open this up a little bit. It's obviously there's something binding in here. Something's not right with the middle one. I suppose a dry fit would have been best. Would have been the smart way to go. Again, I can get the top, I can get the bottom. The middle does not want to go at all. The middle one will not go in. It does not want to go at all. And I'm not sure why. Maybe I got glue in here into its little slot when I first put the wing together. That's possible. That could be why it's not going in. It's possible I got glue inside there when I glued the wing, when I put the two halves together. Now it's a little insignificant. I have no rush to get this together now. This is our challenging part for the day, guys. Yeah, I got it to go in a little further, but it's not. Yeah, there's just not. I think what I'm going to do is cut that off. Because I can't get it in far enough in there. I think what had happened is I got glue in there and it's now just causing interference. And there's not really anything I can do. None of my tools are small enough to actually go in there. Even my X-Acto knife, I'll wind up, I can get it that far, but that's not far enough. And I can kind of wiggle it around in there and maybe try and get a decent shape, but that might have done it. Oh, hey, we got it. We're in. And we got movement, but we're not glued in. Okay, so now let's put some glue on there. almost tight enough that we don't need glue. Okay, we're glued in, and we have movement. We're glued in, and we're going to leave it like that. I have no idea whether I'm going to mess everything up by doing this, but put my accelerator in there and see if that runs down inside and makes that permanent or not. So there's our movement on it. So that's cool. That's a neat little feature. I really like that, being able to do that. There we go. So with that being done, that might just be where I leave it for today, guys. So that was a little bit further along. That took a little bit longer than I expected, just doing that one wing, doing the rudder. But yeah, I think that's going to be a good spot to end it for today. Got our rudder that's in there now, yay! And we've got our cowling on. Still got that one last little bar to fix, so I'm gonna I'll work on that. I'll do that off camera. This other one looks like it's ready, so I can freely let that one go, and that's gonna stay. I like that. That's good. So yeah, I'll get that one all buttoned up nice, and then we will continue next time on more wings, because we've got more wings to go. And so with that, I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank you for coming out. Let me know what you think about the inverted camera view, and see if that's better for you guys or not. I'd like to be able to have my camera more overhead, and then you can see it a little bit better rather than on an angle. I just don't have that luxury with my particular setup. That might be something I could try and look into in the future and get that a little better, but we'll see. Anyway, hit that like button below if you haven't already. Subscribe, and head over to my Twitch channel. You can follow me on there, or you could even subscribe to me on Twitch. That would be fantastic too. Check out my Instagram. You can see all my still pictures of stuff that I do. Whatever you'd like to do, leave a comment down below. Let me know how you feel, and we'll see you all in the next one.